Good morning, Year 2. Welcome to your new week of learning. It's just me for today, and then you'll have Miss Druce for the rest of the week. I hope you had a nice weekend and that you're excited for a new day of learning. So we're going to start off with what we always start our day off with, which is reading. And we are carrying on our Flat Stanley story. If you remember from last time, they have just been at the park where Stanley becomes a kite and Arthur leaves him in a tree to go have a hot dog. So Stanley's really mad at Arthur. Okay, so that's where we're at. So we move on to chapter 4, and this chapter is called The Museum Thieves. Okay, so it says, Mr. and Mrs. O.J. Dart lived in the flat just above the lamb chops. Mr. Dart was an important man, the director of a famous museum of art in the city. Stanley Lambchop had noticed in the lift that Mr. Dart, who was ordinarily a cheerful man, had become quite gloomy. He had no idea what the reason was. And then at breakfast one morning, he heard Mr. and Mrs. Lambchop talking about Mr. Dart. I see, said Mr. Lambchop, reading the paper over his coffee cup, that still another painting has been stolen from the famous museum. It says here that Mr. O.J. Dart, the director, is at his wit's end. Then it says, museum art stolen again. There's a newspaper headline. Okay, so that is our section today. We're just introducing the new chapter and the new adventure for Stanley. Okay, few things just to quickly go over. Ordinarily means just like it is normal. So it says who was ordinarily a cheerful man. It means he normally is that. Okay, most of the time he is that, but he's been quite gloomy. Okay, and the other thing to just take notes of is it says he's the director, which basically means he's in charge of the museum. Okay, so Mr. O.J. Dart, the one who lives above them or below them? Above them. Yeah, flat just above them is the director, so he's in charge of the museum. Okay, and because it's Monday, instead of doing normal retrieval questions, we're doing vocabulary. So on the next slide, it's going to be some words that you need to come up with definitions for that come from this section. Okay, so you've got 5 words here. You've got important, museum, cheerful, gloomy, and stolen. Right. If you're not sure, the steps to work these out are not too different from retrieval. You still underline, you still go and find it, and you still read around, but instead of having to take an answer from the text, you're using the information of the text to help you work out the answer. Okay, so here it's working out what these words mean. What does it mean if you are important? What is a museum? How would you define a museum? What does being cheerful mean if you are cheerful? And what does being gloomy mean? And then what does it mean to have something stolen? So your first job is to write a definition for each of those words. What do those words mean? Your second job is to then take those words and use them in a sentence. All right? So for each word separately, use that specific word in the sentence, not what you put in this box, but use those specific words in and put it into a sentence. Don't take the sentence from Flat Stanley. You're coming up with your own sentence for these words, okay? So pause the video, have a go, and then we'll talk about the meanings. I'm not going to go through sentences because you're going to come up with your own sentences. You'll just have to send those in to year2@theparentacademy.com, where we will go through the definitions. So pause, have a go. Okay, so hopefully you've had a go at finding out the meaning of the words. So important, when something is important, it means it's very special. Okay, if something is important, it's very special. It It's the main thing. Okay. If something's, when we say this is really important, it means it takes priority. It's the highest on the list. So it's very special. A museum is a place for art and for people to see it. Okay, so a place for people to see art. Something along those lines. Yes? To be cheerful means to be happy, and to be gloomy means to be sad. You can, if you've used a more broader explanation, that's absolutely fine, but that's essentially what it means. Cheerful means happy, gloomy means sad. And for something to be stolen means it's been taken without permission. Okay? So if something's been stolen from you, like if someone takes your pencil without you wanting them to, that means they've stolen it. They've taken it without permission. Okay, so those are the words. Can't wait to see your sentences. Send them into year2@thepirateacademy.com. That's the end of your reading lesson for today. And I will see you in a bit for maths. Bye.